the FIFA World Cup back last year in Qatar. And it's a song I love so much. It's titled Dreamers, by the way. And of course, we're back to Dream. The conversation starts from the home scene this afternoon. The NNL has charged teams who are set to participate in the new season of the Nigerian National League to submit preferred and alternative stadiums for their home matches. The NNL directive is that all 40 participating teams for the new season have until next week to comply with the instruction. The Chief Operational Officer of the NNL, Mr. Emmanuel Adesanya, while speaking to NNL media, says the stadiums must reflect required standard as spelled out in the rule book of the league. This explained that requirements like good dressing rooms with toilets, showers, bathing facilities, recovery areas, good playing pitch, safety and security are very, very key. Other requirements are perimeter fencing, adequate media, and medical facilities in the different stadiums. And he also disclosed that clubs have been sent circulars in this regard, and any clubs whose facilities fall short will not be approved. And that's the story. Well, I start with you, Fon. In this conversation, we're talking about the second-tier football league in the country, and this is an era where even top NPFL clubs are struggling to have stadiums who are up to standard. And is this quite feasible that the NNL teams, 40 of them, can get stadiums that meet the requirements? Good dressing rooms, good playing turf, very important, safety and security areas as well.
Well, I don't think it's possible, really possible right now. We are talking about, even in England, you can see Luton Park right now. They are not allowed to play home games because of lack of stadiums. And talk of Nigeria, we are not yet at that stage. But I think what the NNL is looking at is a good dressing room, a good pitch, and a good security. So I think that should not be far-fetched for these NNL teams. So I think it's actually a very great innovation for the NNL board to come out and give and say this is what we need from teams. You need to have a working stadium. But either ways, I think they can share with bigger teams from the same states or something. So I think it's a great innovation from the NNL board.
All right, well, Blyden, first of all, it's commendable that the NNL are looking towards this direction. And of course, we're in an era where football has to be taken seriously. And one way to do that is to make sure stadiums are well kept, stadiums are up to standard, particularly. But we're talking about teams that might be struggling with funding. We're talking about teams that, might not have enough funds to fix off other things rather. You think that the policy, this promulgation, would work on the long run for the NNL, or are we just saying something that would just be said on paper and never implemented?
Well, I think it's on paper it's going to be, because I'm looking at Nigeria holistically as a country. We do not have up to 40 stadiums. That's the conversation from my end, especially look at even the NPFL side. How decent are the stadiums? That's the conversation too. But on the other hand, Mary, I think it's a good initiative, because you're looking at one fact, that they're beginning to look at the quality of the stadium. And recently it was quite embarrassing when CAF came in, and you always hear those conversations that there's only one stadium in Nigeria that's of CAF standard. Quite embarrassing. So if we start from the NNL level to demand quality pitch, demand quality stadium, then it's something to look forward to. In the long run, we might be talking about good development of the quality of stadia we have and the quality of football we have. Let's also be expectant from my side that they have to also talk about teams coming up with sponsorship deals. I think there ought to be that demand also now, because we look at it, most of the teams are run by state government. Use Akwa Ibom State, for example. How many clubs in the country, in the states, are being run by the state government? And sometimes the state can actually run it adequately the way they ought to. What are the clubs also doing to create demand, create some level of sponsorship, and move forward? That's the conversation. But I love the fact that we're having this conversation now, and it's starting out quite well.
All right, so that's the conversation. Look forward to seeing what the teams do. It'll be quite difficult. In the coming days, we'll look at the NNL teams and we'll take a look at the stadiums that they'll be using, because we'll get a list before then. But that's the story. And, if it's workable, time is going to tell. But let's move on and talk about something else.
I just want to add.
Yeah.
And to me, I just feel 40 NNL teams, that's too much.
But they're divided into groups, 4 groups actually.
Yeah, it's still too much for me. Let them have decent football and play. Maybe it shouldn't be just 40. 40 is much for me.
All right.
After dividing into the group,
yeah,
what's the consequence
10 each group.
How good are they based on those groups. It's not competitive enough for me. And just having
not
lots
competitive
of teams.
10 group, not competitive.
No, it's not.
You know, chasing and the top 2 teams each group have to qualify for the Super 8.
After what? You got to play lots of teams, play relegation battle. We saw last season what happened.
Relegation playoffs.
It didn't make sense. They were playing relegation playoff territory by territory. Let's unify the thing. Let's play it as a proper football
a 20-team league.
Maybe, or maybe just 20. If you want to divide the 20 into 2, I'm fine. But the number of teams in this, and because in the long run, it brings lots of politics. It brings lots of politics from different territories at the end of it. And people just scramble to form teams to play in NNL. At the end of it, what do? They just sell off the teams.
Another reason why this is like this is because, you know, we do not have a working third-tier football league. Everybody wants to jostle to join the NNL.
That's the point.
Our nationwide league one is not working, sadly. So a new team is formed. They want to go to the NNL as soon as possible. So that's basically why we're seeing all of this.
Let's have the nationwide league one.
And as a result of this, the NNL management are making a lot of money getting teams in. You know, so that's why they're stretching the number of teams participating there.
Especially knowing that the followership is quite low compared to the NPFL.
The NPFL,
and that's it for me. If we can have 40 teams, let's have a league one side too.
It all gets back to the conversation of fixing the nationwide league one, making it workable, right? And that's where you start from.
What does it take to do that, Mario?
Well, Blyden,
just start it.
It takes Nigeria. That's the story. Well, the structure of the league is a conversation for the coming days, but let's talk about something more enticing. Not yet. Let's just stay home, Blyden. Lobby Stars, according to reports we're hearing, that they are found to be indebted to players and club officials. And the story is that Lobby Stars are yet to pay the players their 4 months of paid salaries owed to them since May. According to a former player of the club, who would not want his name to be mentioned, he expressed his frustration over the ongoing situation, which has been happening at the club since May. And that's the story from there. It was reported that the governor of Benue State, Father Hasid Alia, was on Tuesday, he held a meeting with Lobby Stars management, staff and players, alongside other football stakeholders to chart a way forward, and modalities aiming to help the club grow stronger. But that's the story. And this is coming in the wake of the NPFL urging clubs to pay players and club officials before they would be allowed to complete registration for the new season. So that's it. Let's look at something more palatable. The Super Falcons of Nigeria, after an impressive performance at the FIFA Women's World Cup, have climbed 8 places in the latest FIFA Women's World Rankings released this morning. And of course, the 9-time African champions now occupied 32nd position in the world. Before it was 40. The Falcons, remember, had a fine performance at the FIFA Women's World Cup when beating the group stages, playing a goalless draw against Canada, defeating Australia 3-2, losing to England on penalties 4-2, and now they still are the highest ranked team in Africa, number 1. South Africa, Cameroon, Morocco, Ghana completed top 5 teams in the African scene. Well, fun. It's reward for an impressive showing at the FIFA Women's World Cup, right?
Well, I think it's a great reward because you want to look at these girls. They have done a lot. I think you want to go back in recent years. This is one of the best performances. So I think it's great for this reward to actually come at this stage. I think it's a great one.
Like, and after 6 years as the top-ranked team in the world, the US Women's National Team have finally been dethroned. They've dropped to 3rd, and Sweden have now climbed to the top-ranked team in the world. Well, they dominated the women's game in recent times, of course, won back-to-back global crowns, 2015, 2019, the World Cup back-to-back. However, they had a disastrous performance at the 2023 FIFA Women's World Cup, and they dropped down to 3rd position, Blyden.
No, it was anticipated because you saw the performance at the World Cup. I mean, all the troubles within the US camp. Lots of problems, women causing not standing for the anthem, and whole lots of things happened within that camp. But on the other hand, football wasn't good enough this time. For the first time in the World Cup, we're seeing the US national team struggle. It's always going to be the conversation. Well, let's talk about Sweden, Mary. Nobody really gets to give Sweden lots of credit for what they do. I look at the past 5 World Cups thereabout. Sweden has always been 10th. It's the conversation, and no one gets to rate Sweden that much. They've always get to finish 10th, thereabout.
Position,
decent side, over the years. Strong women's team. What's left for them to win major trophies? They've not been able to win the Euros in recent times, but if they get to cap it up, they could be even further solid. And it goes on to bring conversation about your style of play. Play the style of play that suits you. That's why I was clamoring for African players and African teams to play the African way and win games. We saw Sweden at this World Cup. Not the most beautiful kind of football you might think of, but they were leather. When you talk about compact in the middle and attacking and those crossing knot system, they're perfect at it and they're getting results.
Well, people are saying, Blyden, that the seeming slump of the U.S. women's national team is due to the fact that they relied on their aging players for bulk of the goals. Megan Rapinoe, 38 years of age. We're talking Alicia Neha, 35 years of age. Alex Morgan, 34 years of age. And it goes on and on and on and all of that. And bulk of the core of the team were aged. And when you think that philosophy or that notion holds water as to why the women's national team of the USA never performed well at the Women's World Cup.
Well, I think I would subscribe to that because you look at the likes of Megan Rapinoe. She's more involved in activism right now more than, playing football. She has an opinion on everything that happens in the world of outside football right now. So I think it was kind of a distraction, and the players were not really playing for the coach. The coach has already been sacked just after the World Cup. The coach has been let go by the USFA. So I think it's actually a problem of reliance, over dependence, if you like it now, on these old players. They need to move on to their younger crop of players, integrate them slowly into the squad. We've seen the US actually, the faltered now in the age grade football. Remember when the Falconets actually defeated the US on the 17 side, on the 20 side rather. So I think they have to go back to their age grade system and try to integrate these young ones into the national team.
Well, let's look at the women's top 10. Sweden sit top right now. Spain comes second, the winners of the FIFA Women's World Cup. USA dropped to third, England fourth, France fifth, Germany sixth, Netherlands seventh, Japan 8, Brazil 9, and Canada, despite that very lackluster performance at the World Cup, they sit 10th. And it's good news for Nigeria, at least. We've moved 8 places. And, well, one of the biggest movers is Morocco, Blyden. They moved over 13 places up. And that makes sense for the Atlas Lionesses.
What about Colombia?
Yeah, Colombia. We'll look at Colombia. Let's see where they stand in the latest rankings. I think we have to check that out right now. And, well, for the Colombia women's national team, they're currently ranked in number really down, actually 22. Huh? Yes, 22 in the latest rankings.
Not too down.
No, not too bad. Not too bad. It was good performance. Well, let's look at the top 20 then. Australia 11, Denmark 12, Norway 13, Iceland 14, China 15, Austria 16, Italy 17.
China.
Yeah,
China got down.
Yeah, they've never qualified past the quarterfinals.
Yeah.
Portugal 19, Korea Republic 20.
Mark, this is what is showing to me that women's game is beginning to change.
Very competitive, getting competitive.
Smaller countries are adding up the notch ahead, and those big countries we normally talk about in women's game like China, USA, they're beginning to struggle. Even Germany struggled. Yeah. They must have been down now, and that's the conversation.
All right, so that's good news for Nigeria. We hope to see some more of this in the coming days. Good performance. Kudos to the girls one more time. We hope to see this consistency. All right, so let's travel to the foreign scene, Blyden, and talk about stories from there. Where do we start from? Chelsea take on Luton Town today, and I think we should start talking about that game right now. Well, Kani Chukwuemeka, according to Team News, has joined the Chelsea long list of injuries after getting a knee surgery done for an injury suffered last weekend. Mikhailo Mudryk also misses out after picking up a minor knock in training. Romeo Lavia is not yet match fit. For Luton Town, they could give debut to former Chelsea man Ross Barkley. And defender Rhys Burke is fit again after injury. Gabe Osho has been rolled out for Luton Town, while Dan Porter and Jordan Clark remain long-term absentees for Nottingham Forest. Well, before we talk about the game, for Chelsea's list of injury absentees keeps getting long as the days go by. Maybe they should go get Eva Caniero back in the team.
Well, I don't know what's wrong with Chelsea there. I think the fitness department needs to be looked into, because players just going out on injury, before you know, you could hear that Mauricio Pochettino is injured also. So I think it's actually very concerning for the Chelsea faithfuls right now, because their captain is Ulrich James. Important players like Kani Chukwuemeka, Mikhailo Modric, Beno Badashile has not even started the season. Wesley Fofana. So I think it's actually a long list of injury concerns, and it needs to be looked into.
Right, so Chelsea's only win in the last 16 games was against Bournemouth in May last year, and that's poor. And Luton Town, not the best of teams so far, newly promoted, have gotten just 1 point so far. They take on Chelsea. Now it's a game between 15th and 17th. Yeah, they've got no points rather.
No points.
They played just one game rather.
Absolutely.
No points, considered 3 goals in that game.
4-1.
Yeah.
It was 4-1.
4-1 rather. Yeah, that's the story. Well,
it was Brighton.
Absolutely, 4-1 Brighton with a good difference of -3, right? Yeah, so Chelsea's at 15. Luton's at 17.
Well, I think it's a game for redemption for Chelsea. They have to find a way to beat Luton Town. But I watched Luton Town against Brighton, quite a tough side, and the coach has been talking tough. He says they're not here to give to be sharing points, and that's the conversation. They couldn't play the next game because of renovations that's taking place.
Yeah, they're 2-bedroom flat stadium.
But basically, what it is, big game for Chelsea, and also the bookers are saying for the likes of what's his name now, Raheem Sterling. Recently, someone said I don't like Sterling. I love Sterling a lot as a footballer, but Raheem Sterling, bookers are saying he ought. Let's see if he gets a shot on target, because he's not gotten a shot on target yet, and it's a conversation. And also, what's the name, the new signing for Chelsea? Many people, first game for him, had 2 fouls and 2 cards, and now moving forward to the next game, maybe it could be up for different cards. But I think it's a tough game for Chelsea.
All right, well, I would love to see the performance of Chelsea's new names. Moises Caicedo should get a handing in this game. And let's talk about the Chelsea system and how it look like for them. They've gotten some injury problems right now, so and are not Pep. Pochettino in his first 2 games fancied him the 3-back formation, the 3-4-2-1. If you like, are we going to see the same thing for now? And you think it'll work for Chelsea towards getting them to create chances and score goals?
Well, I think Chelsea they're enjoying actually a very good system under Mauricio Pochettino. They are playing good football. In the last 2 matches, they have averaged over 600 completed passes. 600 completed passes. That's the most of any side in the Premier League.
And that's it. In that number of games, they've conceded 4 goals.
They considered 3 in 1 game, so let's not rush to conclusion.
That's 4 in 2.
They are playing Luton Park now. Luton Park has, their first game, they had less than 200 completed passes. Less than 200, and Chelsea have been averaging over 600. So I think it's going to actually bring to the fore, the pattern of Chelsea. They like to hold possession. They like to be in control. So I think all they need to do now is get the ball in the back of the net, and it's up to the attackers to do that for them.
Blyden, Chelsea are having 2 problems from my ends, though. Creativity problem and, of course, a proficiency in the final third, finishing, if you like. Now, let's look at creativity. They've talked about Enzo Fernandez, and Von had a conversation the other day saying Fernandez is not a creative player, but it brings back the story right now. Should Chelsea, in this game and going forward, trust Fernandez with creation?
Well, definitely. I watched a game against Liverpool. I'm looking for the word to describe Enzo Fernandez in that game. Did all the things right. Yes, we could complain about Liverpool midfield at the time. But on the other hand, I think the biggest problem with Chelsea isn't just about because Enzo Fernandez is the arranger in the midfield. But on the other hand, the biggest problem is that transition when it gets to the final third. When Kani Chukwuemeka was playing for Chelsea at the time, in that last game, they were playing quite better. The moment he left injured, they struggled, indicating there's a problem in the support attack, someone who's linking the midfield to the attack, and that is it for me. I think they have to find a way to solve that problem in this particular game. And I'm asking Pochettino, if you want to get a result, take, what's the name now? This Conor Gallagher off the middle. Maybe put him up front.
It goes back to the story. Pochettino was asked yesterday about the creativity issue, and he said that 2 players are his favorites to create for Chelsea. Mentioned Fernandez and mentioned Conor Gallagher. And for now, I'm asking, Conor Gallagher, is it a bad of a creator?
Well,
this man was Crystal Palace's best player in the season.
I wouldn't want to say he's that bad because this man had a very good season at Crystal Palace. But yeah, we're looking at the level in Crystal Palace and in Chelsea. 2 different levels, 2 different clubs. Chelsea is miles away. The pressure is higher on this man. So I think Conor Gallagher, whatever he did at Crystal Palace, he has failed to bring it to the fore at Chelsea Football Club.
Why can't Chelsea trust Gallagher to create chances for them?
I think they've been trusting him, but in the wrong position. That's it for me.
Right.
Especially bringing him deep into the middle. Instead of started with Graham Potter. I do not know who gave Graham Potter that idea. And for me, the man has been a shadow of himself, not really playing football the way he ought to play at Chelsea. He's not a central midfielder. Maybe the way he runs, the way he picks up the ball, it reminds me of John Obi Mikel at the time, who did a lot of job trying to become a defensive midfielder. But here's the point. When you're a makeshift kind of player, you play the makeshift kind of style. But if you're playing your natural position and you're allowed to flow, you get better and better. And I'm expecting Chelsea at this point get Conor Gallagher a little bit upward. I saw him in the game against Real Madrid last season and trying to play that position. High-profile game, especially when you do it once. But this a lower level of game. Let him move higher. Can he do so much? I do not think so, but I think he can try. More option. Chelsea now needs, whether you're playing a support attack or not, they need more numbers in the box. I want him to also join in that position in the box. Create distraction, because Jackson needs a distraction to be able to score goals. Right. And that is our concern. For the likes of Raheem Sterling, if I were his coach, I would tell him, don't do too much unnecessary things. Do the most important things. Create space, create that distraction, lay the final pass. If you get to do that, Chelsea gets to score. If it doesn't get to do that, because he's the most senior player up front, he has to step up the gas.
Oh, here is Sterling's coach talking about Sterling himself. Blinded you're not.
We know he played at the quality that he can add to Luton, the team.
You said Raheem deserves credit for the way he started this season. It was a delight seeing him play the way he did at the London Stadium. What does he need from you to continue to be able to play like that?
I think it was good, because from the beginning I think we had plenty of conversation about different situations. It's about to understand. We need to know each other from the beginning, and then the player need to trust in us, in our structure, and in the way that we are going to provide the tool for him to be fit and to be ready to compete.
We are the dreamers, we make it happen.
Pochettino, Chelsea manager, they're talking about Raheem Sterling. Well, this man is an Englishman, and that performance has gotten him loads of plaudits from the English media. He's now been called a phenomenal player. Well, I hope he keeps off the pace. The game comes up by 8 p.m. Nigerian time, and it's a story. Well, let's talk about other stories. So Monaco are close to signing Folarin Balogun for 45 million euros, and it's a story. Well, the man is not going to Chelsea. He's not going to Inter Milan. Now, speaking of Chelsea, guys, Lukaku is talking to Roma, and according to Fabrizio Romano, the transfer specialist, this man might join Roma on a season-long loan deal until the end of the season, and of course could get a permanent deal at the end of his loan stint. We'll talk about that, but let's take calls in 090-2223-1011 and 0817-624-8565. Good afternoon, welcome.
Hello, good afternoon, my son.
Yes, welcome to Victor.
Hello, good afternoon.
Welcome, Victor. All right, Victor, please do want to call us back. Thank you so much. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Welcome. Name and location.
This is Raymond calling from
Go ahead.
Chelsea Park.
All right.
I think Chelsea's problem at the moment, I've heard a lot of fans talking about you guys in the studio. You guys are doing a great job. When you're talking about Chelsea, it will take time. It takes time for Chelsea to come. The Chelsea team at the moment is a young team. The young team, so it needs time. People should not be saying this one is not performing well, this one is not doing this, this one is not doing this. Give this team some time. Those players are young players. That Conor Gallagher is a very young player. All those players. Let's give this team some time. The team will produce what everybody is looking for.
All right.
We should be rushing. This one is not performing well. Let's give this team, Chelsea, at the moment.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Give him some time. Give him some time till Walcott's done 30 years of age. Right in our eyes. Give him some time. Good afternoon. Welcome to the show, football fan. Great to have you join the conversation. All right. Your place, another has to take. Good afternoon. Welcome.
Good afternoon, my son.
Welcome.
My name is Nifreki. I'm calling from Uyo.
Welcome, Nifreki.
Tonight, against my Chelsea playing Luton Town this evening, you don't have any excuse, because the amount that we spend and with the kind of players, even though they are young, they are quality players. So at least let them just try and put smile on our face or on our mouth.
Thank you very much. I hope they do that, and good luck with that as well. Right, so also on Facebook, just head to the Planet Radio 101 FM page, the one with the blue tick. Go there, drop your comments, and we're going to take them in the course of the show. And there's also a post published on the sports page, the Planet Radio 101 FM sports page. Drop a comment there, and we're going to take them in the course of the show. Right, well, Blythe, let's talk about something. It's something I want to have your opinion on. Former referee Mike Dean said he decided not to alert a fellow official, Anthony Taylor, to a missed call via the VAR system during last season's Premier League game between Chelsea and Tottenham because he wanted to spare him more grief. Mike Dean says he regrets the decision. He was a VAR during Chelsea's 2-2 draw against Tottenham, if you remember that game. And before Tottenham scored the equalizer, Romero had pulled Kukureya's hair, if you remember. And this man was in the VAR booth. He said he did not want to call the attention of the referee, or the on-field referee, Anthony Taylor, because he wanted to spare him more grief. Now, I don't understand what he means by he wanted to spare him more grief, that they're friends and all of that, but this is a profession, and you're supposed to keep all iota, all ounces of sentiment, emotions aside. But this is what an established English referee is saying.
But I like the fact that now they're talking about it, because I've always said that these people put lots of emotion behind the scene. Most in particular, I always see it with Manchester United. Some calls they don't get to do it. I'm sorry, Mfana, I know it's itching you. But on the other hand, Mari, I love the fact that he's coming out to make the world understand that sometimes they deliberately take this. I'm looking for the word.
Now that's the thing.
This is total incompetence.
All right, you've taken the words from my mouth. Now we're talking about a profession, and this man has been in refereeing for plus or minus over 20 years. We know Mike Dean.
Yes,
right. Over 20 years. Now, if after 20 years, you're still mixing and romancing your profession with emotions, and of course, these situations are game-changing situations. Imagine if that call was made, Chelsea probably win that game 2-1, get 3 points. At least it'll be something. But the apology and the admittance right now is null and void, and it's nonsense. So what does he say of their competence as referees?
Well, I think they're just coming out to explain to us why FIFA keeps dropping England referees for international tournaments. Because all they are doing is just show us that they are a bunch of clowns. They should be performing in a circus. So I don't know what the English referees are doing. Biden actually made a point about Manchester United. I can point him to several matches last season. It was actually a match where the referees came out to make an apology to Manchester United.
They've even apologized already.
Yeah,
it
was against Wolves, rather.
Yeah.
So I think every club has had their own fair shares. Chelsea has had theirs. So you should not single out the particular
Not as
club.
many as Manchester United.
Now let's not make it a club thing, guys.
Well, I agree.
Let's make it let's see the problem as it is.
Yeah.
It's a refereeing problem. It's the fact that these referees, despite the fact that they are revered and of course adored across the world, they have consistently, especially in the last 2-3 years, made very funny calls, Biden.
But on the other hand, while we always talk about referees should be protected, I think they're getting overprotected. Because you can imagine what the man came out to say, Mario. It doesn't make sense to me. Absolutely dismal. How do you say he was protecting the referee? That's why he didn't make the call. It doesn't make sense. If he were a footballer would be investigated. I think referees making this kind of statement ought to be investigated. There could be more to it. Because Mario have seen so many instances, I begin to wonder, is there VAR in this system? Why are they taking up these decisions? And I'll always get to talk about it. Since the VAR happened, I've seen those instances with Manchester United enough. No matter how you want to talk about it, Mary. It's so many when it has to do with Manchester United. Because you know why? It's the Queen's Club, as they always say.
Blyden,
and you know why most of the referees have a soft.
I'd beg you, Blyden, to rest in Jesus' name.
I'll rest, let me just say this. And you realize that most of the referees have a soft spot for Manchester United. So behind the scene, they're a little bit quiet and say, oh, should we give this decision or not? Should we not? Should we not? Oh, let's say, oh, what happens at the end of it?
All right, thank you.
Nonsense.
Thank you so much. I feel your pain, and it's coming from a blue place. Good afternoon. Welcome to the show.
Mari.
Good afternoon, Job Ghana. Yes.
I'm high chief and in front. Mari, I remember the monsters. Even Bengal Insurance, they need not to concede any goal in the dying minute. They need to show character of a winner. Marry for the Egyptian Pharaoh and Liverpool Palava. Let them allow him to go. His body language is normal as active. Look, man, Hazard is going to Crystal Palace.
No, he's not. It's a rumor.
As a retired, once you go to Arab Billionaire, marry, I collect some money. Being overweight. Just marry my Balogo going to Monaco. He'll be a big hit here. I wish him a poo career. I think I headset. Finally, marry. Tomorrow match between Newcastle and Liverpool. You see Liverpool walk alone.
All right, Top Gunner. All right.
Pardon? Let me finish, sir. West Ham with Brighton marry, it will be a touch schedule. It can be a draw. Thank you for having me.
Thank you very much, Top Gunner, for talking to us. Your thoughts, really appreciate it. Good afternoon. Welcome to the show.
Yeah, good afternoon, sport analyst. I remember basically talking about where a lot of people have been happy because when they saw this news, I think a lot of fans, other fans, are happy because when this guy out for Liverpool, they will think that they will have a ability or a freedom to win Liverpool, but I don't believe in that. Whatever they are or whatever name they are called themselves, they want to turn Liverpool to their crayfish market, which I believe that this very one will not go through. And they should went to other teams like Arsenal. They don't see Bukayo Saka or Martinelli for them
Thank
to
you.
come and fish out.
Thank you very much, Mr. Eze. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for talking to us. Well, we leave for the banter actually, so I'm not going to say anything.
Why did you get what he talked about? He's talking about Mo Salah indirectly.
Basically,
and the Saudis coming to Liverpool to pick other players that should go to Arsenal.
It's basically banter. We worry them. Good afternoon. Welcome.
Raymond calling back again.
All right, Raymond.
There's something concerning that referee issue that we're talking about. It will continue. For every to come and say, I do this, I do that, it will. There's no need for somebody to maybe boxing himself. If England thing, it will continue from time to time. The referee will always come out and say something. I wanted to do this, I didn't want to do that. So it's an English style, it's English strategy. So there's no need for somebody to, you understand. It will continue.
Thank you very much.
English league is still in existence, so it's going to continue. Thank you very much.
It's arrant nonsense because if it was Nigeria, well, let's not say. All right, so let's talk about something more enticing. Well, I don't know if it's enticing to you guys. Roma are hoping to secure a loan move for Lukaku after yet another twist in the summer transfer saga involving the Chelsea striker. He's 30, wants to leave Stamford Bridge, has not spoken with Chelsea head coach Pochettino even till this very moment. And that's the story. Lukaku rejected a move to Saudi Pro League and was flirting with Juventus and Inter Milan. The two clubs he was flirting with said, no, we don't want you. And that's a sad story. Reminds me of somebody I know in this live studio. Right, so Chelsea are looking forward to letting the man go, fun, right? And he wants to reunite with Jose Mourinho. Remember Jose Mourinho in his formative years as a footballer? Mourinho was also instrumental in United signing him back then, some years back and all of that. So Roma, Lukaku, it's still in Italian Serie A, so a chance at resurgence.
For me, it's embarrassing at this stage. You're looking at Romelu Lukaku. He has been touted with Inter Milan, with Juventus, and the fans came out to protest that they don't want this man. He's just looking for a suitor right now. We might just see the man, begging Birmingham to come sign him very soon. Because I don't know, a striker of Lukaku's caliber.
So how, I was asking yesterday, and I was asking him, Blyden, how burnt is the bridge that Lukaku cannot just get back and play for Chelsea? Because Chelsea right now need a striker, they need a goal scorer, right? So why is there so much problem, and how massive is the mountain separating Chelsea and Lukaku?
I think it's a psychology. I think it's mainly about the player Lukaku. He's looked at the last 2 stints he's had with Chelsea. It's not worked out. What makes him sure he'll work out again now that he's advanced in age? That's a conversation. And he stayed in England.
30 years of age.
And he stayed in Italy. Italy has always worked out for him, one way or the other. And that's the conversation for him. And he looks at it. I've always talked about Italian football, quite slower compared to English football. But Lukaku has always been a decent footballer. I heard Fon say it's embarrassing going to Roma.
No, I don't say it's embarrassing going to Roma. Like the saga, the transfer.
Okay, the saga. I didn't get that apology for that. But I think it's wonderful for him if he ends up at Roma. One of the phenomenal things about Jose Mourinho and his ex-players has been this. Every of them that returned to meet him in Roma are playing quite well for him. We're talking about Smalling from Manchester United becoming such a phenomenal player. It didn't quite work for him. Even Mkhitaryan at the time before leaving to Inter Milan. So Lukaku, I think it might just worked out for him, considering the fact that Roma's budget is so low.
Roma have to
buy a player.
They have 2 strikers right now, Andrea Bellotti and Tammy Abraham. Is there space for Lukaku?
Who are those? We're talking about Romelu Lukaku here.
Blessed. Thank you very much for shutting me up. Good afternoon. Welcome to the show. Hello? All right, so do you want to call us back on Phone Blyden, Facebook, live feed, sports page? Let's take comments from there in a moment or two from now. Marc-Andre ter Stegen has signed a new contract with Barca. He's set to stay until 2028. Good news for the man who has been Barca's rock-solid man. Between the sticks, good afternoon. Hello, knock, knock.
Yeah, Mario, how far?
Yes, now, fine now. This is Emmanuel Igure.
Yeah, I did know.
Bro, I'm good, man. What's going on?
No wahala at all.
Yeah, now.
I just saw the news about Lukaku to Roma. It's very funny how Lukaku's career has gone from 100 million to looking for a space in Roma. It's very, very sad, my brother. And I think, for me, I think it's a very good move for him in case he decides to revive it. I would have loved him to go to Saudi and get some money because he's already 30 years old. So I think it's going to be hard for him to adapt as well because, Mourinho has already signed a striker already for Roma. So I think it's going to be quite difficult for him as well.
All right. Thank you very much, Igwe, for being a part of it. Blyden is here. No banter today.
No. He talked about the referee being partial about Manchester United. I don't really want to comment on that. I think, like you said, it's coming from the heart of blue. So of course,
my heart is not blue.
Thank you very much, Igwe.
My heart is not blue. For the record, my heart is not blue.
Blyden would know when it's time. All right, let's travel to Saudi Arabia, guys, and it has to start with Johnny Gallo opened his goal scoring account yesterday for Al Weda Football Club against Al-Tai. Al Weda defeated Al-Tai by 3 goals to 0, and it's a story, but he was not the only scorer in their debuts for Saudi Pro League side. Karim Benzema also scored yesterday in his first game. The same story went for Alexander Mitrovic, who also scored for their new clubs over the course of yesterday, and that's a story. Well, 2 days ago, we talked about Benzema and Nuno Espirito Santo and the clash of heads, but maybe all of that has calmed down.
Well, typical of football, all that matters is performance at the end of it. If Benzema, because it got to a point that the board of the club told Nuno, come on, it's either you leave or Benzema stays. Yeah. It's always going to be that conversation because he's the big brand in there. That's why they're paying him so much to be there, not Nuno. But at the end of it, I think the coach has to find a way to manage and handle the current Ballon d'Or winner. He's scoring goals for them. That's basically the most important aspect of it. Let me talk about my Nigerian brother and care about them. My Nigerian brother, Johnny Gallo, did exceptionally well after being let go by Al Hilal at the end of last season, expecting Lionel Messi with John the side never happened. Lionel Messi chose the MLS way. It's much easier, sadly. But moving forward, I think the man is a proven goal scorer. Came in 86 minutes into the game, towards the end of the game, scored a fantastic goal in the 92nd minute, at the end of it being part of his scorer sheet. I really hope that he gets to start game for them. He's a proven goal scorer and fantastic performance by the club. Right,
to wish the man the very best as he continues to show class and quality. But guys, let's take comments from the Facebook pages, the live feed, and of course the sports page. And Fonny, go first.
Yeah, from the live feed, I have Successful Emmanuel here saying, good afternoon, Planet Sport crew. There's nothing Chelsea will do this season. The lion in Chelsea's logo has left the club. Humble Lazarus says, good afternoon, Planet FM. Coming tomorrow, my team Man U will win. Down Chelsea. Joseph Suberu says, I still do not agree with the FIFA rankings, but I guess we should let it be. As for US women's team, they forgot to focus on football. All they wanted in the past few years was to get equal pay with the men. As for Nigeria, we have so many young ladies in the under 20, the likes of Opeyemi Ajakaye, Esther Oyenezide, Floris Sebastian, who should be drafted into the Falcons, while the likes of the old names wane down. Our future is bright. Comrade Ekpen Okban says, good afternoon, sport crew. I see Chelsea struggle to play 1-1 draw tonight with Luton Town. Update me with latest transfer. Liberty Edemekpoyong says, good afternoon, Planet FM. I really enjoy you people. Keep on your good work for my team, Chelsea. They should win. Also, Francis Omaga Namani says, I'm watching from Amagunze in Enugu State. Good afternoon, Planet FM crews. Keep up your good work. Joshua Tom, the last one, says, well done, guys. Watching from Unwangiba. Chelsea win today by 3-0.
If you had skipped Umaniba, I would banish you from this studio, and I would ask why your name is in phone. Blyden.
Yeah. From the sports page of Planet Radio 101, 2P began the conversation and saying, good afternoon, Blyden, and everyone in there. Well, it seems Madrid will send in that bid of £120 million for Mbappe on Sunday, regardless of what Don Carleto said. He said in August 23rd, 2014, that Madrid had done with signing, and by September 1st, 2014, Chicharito landed. Of a truth, Madrid will get Mbappe by September 1st. Well, that's our Fabricio for us here. Xavier Achiboga says, good afternoon, sports crew. I'm wishing for Lauren Balogun and Karen Tierney all the best as they move away from the Emirates this summer. Wishing my lovely Arsenal team the very best against Fulham tomorrow. That's coming from the fact that we hear that most players, about 9 players, will be released in Arsenal.
Right.
Meth McLean also says, good afternoon, guys. I'm wishing Chelsea the best of luck tonight. As for my team, Tottenham Hotspur, 3 points tomorrow should be our priority. Come on, you Spurs. Interesting to see a Spurs fan. And Daniel Mosey says, good afternoon, sports crew. May God bless you guys for always updating us on sports. As for my club, Chelsea, if they no win today, okay.
Please
Make them
don't
come register and play in NNL. Okay, that's what he meant. UB account says official. Andre Santos has joined Nottingham Forest on a season-long loan. Good luck, lad. 100%, he says. And it says, breaking news, Michael Modric is out for the match tomorrow against Luton Town due to injury. And Liberty Edemekpoyong says, good afternoon, Planet FM. I really enjoy you people. Keep up the good work for my team, Chelsea. They should win this evening, up Chelsea. And last, should I take the last one or more?
Yeah, sure.
Omanansi Song Ikang says, I hope Chelsea wins this night. El Krish says, Blyden, please just tell me Chelsea's fate, and I'll take that. Good move for Andre Santos. Hall is better than Cucurella. Any argument? Well, I won't be the one to tell you Chelsea's fate. And Bakayoko Patowski says, good afternoon, Planet Sports crew. I want to comment on my team Chelsea against Luton Town tonight. If they fail to win Luton Town today, I think there is something wrong, but I wish them the best of luck. I also wish all the injured players a quick recovery. I love the way you guys talk football. May God Almighty continue to bless you and keep you. Mary, I cannot hurry. I have to finish this prayer. This prayer is for you. May God Almighty continue to bless you and keep you.
Amen.
Patowski from Uyo.
Thank you so much, Bakayoko Patowski. Thank you so much. And for the record, I'll reply your message on Facebook this afternoon. Good afternoon. Welcome to the show.
Yeah, good afternoon, Mary.
Name and location.
Yeah, who's Uche Sam calling from Abba.
Yeah, Uche, welcome. Been a while.
It's been a while, bro. Brother, I heard the talking point that Roma need this guy.
Lukaku.
Lukaku.
Oh my God. Uche, please, you have to... Uche, your voice is breaking. Can you hear us?
I can hear you.
All right, go ahead, Uche. Let's see if we can try to squeeze it in.
Okay. I'm saying that Lukaku shouldn't go to Roma because of Mourinho. That's all.
All right. Why?
That's all that you think I feel for him. Because I remember what he did to Mourinho when he wanted to win the Super Cup.
He was just playing for Inter Milan. That's just it. Thank you so much for talking to us this afternoon. Good afternoon. Welcome to the show. All right, Chief York, welcome.
Chelsea plays today. Mohamed Kudu will join West Ham. A player which Chelsea were expecting that Chelsea were once again from West Ham. I wonder why Chelsea will sit down and watch West Ham sign that player. We are looking for creativity in the midfield. At this time, Mohamed Kudu is that player like an airport. Arsenal has shot they are short of options because of data in the wing back. And he's loading Kevin Jenny to decide that. I don't know what he's going to do. Maybe he forgets that he has Champions League to play.
All right, thank you.
Lukaku has joined Roma. It's a typical kind of Mourinho style of player. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much for talking to us. Good afternoon. We'll take this call and talk transfers. Welcome to the show.
My uncle.
Great.
I see you, bro.
Alpha.
Very well, sir.
Welcome.
Hi, Chief. I see you. Pastor Fon, I see you too.
I like that.
Fon is faster now.
Okay, I actually want to talk about Chelsea a little bit because I have been watching Chelsea games and then teams before now. When actually meant some particular name like Joko, John Terry, Balak, Maluda, all those men used to actually play football, but I don't even know what Chelsea are playing now, because right now I can even classify them as or let me say into secondary school football team. Yeah, because they're actually running up and down the pitch. You know, I don't even know what they are playing, but let's just see what they can do or what they will do this game if they will get a result.
All right. Thank you very much, Green, for talking to us this afternoon. Well, the youngster, Andre Santos, joins Nottingham Forest from Chelsea on the season-long loan deal. Well, we hear still on Nottingham Forest that they're looking to sign Porto defender Sorregos man Zeru Sanusi, and the bid would come in the region of 15 million euros. And that's the story. I will look at transfer speculations. If you want to take a bite.
Yeah, I have a very funny news here that Spain and Real Betis striker Borja Iglesias has announced that he will not play for the national team until things change and this kind of action doesn't go unpunished.
It's not just him, it's also another Real Betis man, former Arsenal man, Hector Bellerin, has also said he's not going to play. Well, and the man has said he's not going to step down.
Well, these men don't have caps for the
I never saw that coming. They happen to be playing for the national team.
So they're talking tough and yet not tough.
I didn't realize that. But let's take call. Good afternoon. Welcome to the show. Okay. Okay, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Is Aditi, huh?
Blyden is here.
Thank you very much. I trust you. Don't have little faith. If you have little faith, you are failing. But have strong faith that God is around you. Tell it like that. God is around Chelsea. They doesn't have small faith. Chelsea have really lose only one match. And everybody is shouting. What of somebody who have really lose two matches? What will you tell him? What will you tell Satan? They should take time this season. Start taking record of losing. Let's see who will lose highest in this season.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Oki, for talking to us. Good afternoon. Welcome to the show. Hello. All right, let's talk transfers, guys. We hear Crystal Palace are planning to gamble on Chelsea, former Chelsea man Eden Hazard. Well, the man is a free agent since leaving Real Madrid, and they're offering a one-year deal despite his injury problems. Brentford have put an 80 million price tag on Ivan Toney. The man is currently on the sidelines, but teams are already jostling for the man. Real Sociedad have signed Kieran Tierney on loan from Arsenal, and that's the story. Well, the Gunners have agreed to 45 million euros plus add-ons rather from Monaco, and that's the story. United are closing on signing, what's his name now? Johnny Evans on a one-year contract. And this further brings Maguire down the pecking order. It's a really serious problem, but we'll look forward to seeing what happens.
Maguire has got a teammate, finally.
Oh, on the bench. On the bench. That's great. Congrats to both of their bench warmers. right, so Barcelona will sign Joe Cancelo on a season-long loan from City in the next days, and it's a story. Well, that's it for the show. Blyden, can we take this call? It's on you. Yes or no?
Okay, yeah.
All right, let's take it. This is Blyden. Good afternoon. Hello? Oh, it had to be Micah. Welcome, Micah.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon to you too, Micah. How you doing?
Always good.
All right, I like that. Talk to me, Micah.
So I wanna see that they should have all.
Oh my goodness, Micah, please do all to call us back tomorrow. Thank you so much, Blyden, for being a part of the show.
Yeah.
Thank you too for today's Friday. What are your plans for the weekend, Blyden?
Oh, nothing much, just together.
All right,
You know what I mean, Mark.
I understand that. Blyden, how about you?
Well, we'd watch Manchester United play good football finally after 2 weeks.
Right. How about your grocery plans?
Well, the groceries keep coming. I can't stop.
Ladies and gentlemen, have yourself a grocery-free filled weekend. My name is Marizona. I'm Blyden came for company and for the dinner. It's a fun-filled Friday, so enjoy yourself and have a lovely day as well. Ciao, ciao.